Hello, and welcome to a video series that I'll be calling Lemmicks Level Solving Commentary Video Series. I'm KYN, and I'm be the host of this video series. So, this will be another level pack that I'll be recording in audio commentary form, and the biggest reason for that is because I really like this pack. Yeah, even though it is for very old formats Neolemmix, it is a pack that I think is absolutely well done. Yeah, it's just a lot of great puzzles in here, and despite the very clunky and not user-friendly controls in very early versions of Neolemmix, yeah, I was able to look past them and just keep coming back to this pack over and over until I finally got the entire thing solved. So, what is Lemmix? So Lemmix, as you can see in the main menu here, it is a level pack, and it also has the subtitle Lemmings with Gimmicks. So gimmicks were features that exist only on very early versions of Neolemmix, and they were basically things that kind of affect the gameplay in some way. And there were many of them. Yeah, and other than some of these gimmicks being not so liked, yeah, I believe there are a couple that are pretty much universally disliked by most members of the community, the Lemmings forum community. More than that, I think it was just simply due to the coding complexity of Neolemmix. Yeah, that basically resulted in them being cold. Yeah, just because, yeah, it just resulted in a huge mess. Yeah, so it wasn't so much that they were generally hated, but rather it just resulted in a huge mess in the coding of Neolemmix. So that was the biggest reason for why they should be cold. But anyway, as I said before, they still exist on very early versions of Neolemmix, and I was one of the people who didn't really mind them. As a matter of fact, a lot of these gimmicks, in my opinion, have really good potential for great puzzles, and I saw a lot of them in Lemmix. I felt like they were pretty well represented in Strato's pack Lemmix. So Lemmix is one of the it's a pretty early pack of pretty old pack of Stratos. If I am not mistaken, I believe it came after both Paralems and Pitlems. So Lemmix would make this would be Strato's third level pack, and then after that he did Lemmings World Tour, and then Lemmings Open Air, which is his most recent one that he released almost a year ago. Yeah, that I got the honor of pre-testing. That level pack, you can also find a level solving commentary video series on my YouTube channel. And as far as I know, he currently has two packs that are in development right now. One of which I did get to do some pre-testing with the demo that he released, which is Lemmings Hall of Fame. And then the other one is I don't exactly remember the name of it. I think it's like Drugs, Rock and Roll or something like that. But in any case, yeah, they've been development on them has been put on hold just because there needed to be stable versions of the two new Neolemmix skills that would make it into stable first. So those would be the laser and the slider. And now that the stable version has been out for a while now, haven't really exactly heard anything in regards to development of those two packs, but I'm pretty sure Strato's just working on them silently in the background, or if he hasn't, then you know, I understand that he's been really busy with his personal life and possibly just like focusing on other things, because you know, life isn't all just about the game Lemmings. You know, yeah, as much as this is a community about with members that really love the game and can pretty much discuss it at great lengths. But anyway, yes. So another reason for doing a level solving commentary video series on Lemmix is because a lot of these gimmicks that you will see in this series are better explained out loud. I feel as if I just record a silent playthrough of the pack, then yeah, this just going to be like a lot of head turning and a lot of confusion when seeing some things on the screen. And so I feel like explaining orally would do much better, a much better job. And now it's been a while since I've seen some of these gimmicks. So for some of these, yeah, I would do my best on them. But for the most part, I think after a couple of lows, yeah, it should be pretty obvious what is going on or what the gimmick is that you're seeing. And as I said before, there are plenty of them. So it can easily become a mess, yeah, when trying to remember them all, or like what they even do and stuff. So the other thing is that Lemmicks is a lower pack, yeah, that is 170 lows total. We first start off with the basic rank, and then moist, circular, consequential, twisted, whimsical, eternal, um, ephemeral, I think that's how you say it, hasty, cosmic, suicidal, bedlam, and finally nostalgic. So plenty of ranks here. And except for the basic and the bedlam rank, all ranks have 10 lows each. The basic has 20 lows, and bedlam has, I believe, 40 lows. So bedlam is by far the largest rank in the pack. So before we get into the really, really good stuff, basically the meat of the content, yeah, we basically start with the basic rank, which is pretty much like a quick crash course on the basically you can say like physics and controls of the very old versions of the Neolemmix. And as such, the basic rank does not feature any of the gimmicks. It's basically just your simply classic puzzles, yeah, with just the skills that you're given. Yeah, but there aren't any like unique gimmicks that are active in this rank. So anyway, you'll see what I mean when we get as we go through the rank. So I'm thinking for this series, what I will be doing is basically 10 levels per video. So that means there'll be 2 videos for the basic rank, and then every rank that has 10 levels total will only have 1 video. And then, of course, that means Bedlam will have 4 videos. And I believe that pretty much covers in how much videos there will be per rank. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the Level Summit Commentary video series now. Alrighty, so we start off with Basic 1. Let There Be Lems. Welcome to the Basic rank. This rank will just quickly introduce you to the Neolemmix skills and features. For the sake of simplification, you will not encounter any gimmicks in this rank yet. Just remember the level sides are solid in Neolemmix 1.43. Okay, and what that basically means is that in very old versions of Neolemmix, basically hitting the sides would just simply cause Lemmings to turn around, rather than go off the side of the screen and die. Yeah, like they do in new formats Neolemmix. Oh, and also old formats Neolemmix as well. So, as you can see, yeah, we only have walkers here. And the walker skill is a skill that, when assigned to a walking lemming, they simply reverse direction. Or, if they are performing a skill, then they simply get interrupted. They stop early. Yeah, so it's just a simple matter of turning everyone around with a walker before they walk into the fire trap here. And as you can see, yeah, this is the side boundary, and they just simply turn around, as if there was solid terrain there. Okay, and then we do the same thing over here. We turn everybody around once they drop down here, so that they can walk towards the exit. Oh, and yes, and as you noticed, yeah, the music here, I think here, yeah, I was finally able to get it working, or at least the intended music list working here, because before I had the Amiga tunes playing, yeah, rather than the tracks that Strato intended here. And from what I understand, they were basically taken from like Lemmings 3 and a couple of those other games that I did not have the pleasure of playing, or at least not yet. And I don't exactly know if I ever will. But in any case, yeah, the music seems to be working here now. So yes, that's Basic 1 already, so we move on to Basic 2. Go forth and multiply. Cloners create a copy of a lemming facing the opposite direction. This also copies any skill the lemming has or is currently using. Okay. we're just going to go ahead and turn everyone around at the beginning here with a walker skill. Yeah, I think I just simply turned them all around, and then I simply used the cloner. Yeah, there we go. Then I just used all 5 cloners, just to meet the save requirement. So that's pretty much the most basic use of the cloner. Just creates a copy of the lemming, and the clone also walks in the opposite direction of the lemming that you cloned, that you assigned the cloner to. Basic 3. He who is without sin. The stoner kills a lemming instantly, leaving a piece of terrain behind.
Let's go.
Yes, so the first thing we do is stone the first lemming, so that everyone will turn back around. They'll basically hit the stoner and turn back. Okay, and then after we fall for a bit, then we stone to create a stepping stone for the lemmings in order to break their fall, so that they survive the drop. Okay, and then when the lemming falls for a bit, yeah, or even just a pixel, yeah, then we stone to fill up the gap here, so that the lemmings can cross. And that is already it. So we just max out the release rate here. Yeah, and we're done. Alright, basic 4. Why did you doubt? Swimmers can move across water and will always move to the surface. They can't perform any skills while in water, except those which kill them. Stackers build vertically, creating a wall lemmings can't jump over, but only once it's finished entirely. Platformers build horizontally without gaining any height. A lemming building into existing terrain will stop and turn around. So pretty much a level that teaches you 3 skills here. Yeah, as you can see, stackers, platformers, and a swimmer. So first lemming is going to go ahead and stack, and then we give the next lemming that slips by the stack a swimmer. And then we're going to go ahead and platform here. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and platform here to turn him around. And then here we're going to go ahead and stack, so that everybody is contained between these 2 stacks. Yes, and this platformer was assigned so that he does not go past the stacker. We still have some work that we need to do. So, because of the steel wall here, yeah, we can't platform from the left side. So instead, we need to do it from the right side here. So, go ahead and stack here, so that he turns around. And then we just simply platform back to the starting area. So this is going to take a while. And yes, it appears that some stretching is required here. Although I think even without it, yeah, you'll still be you still have more than enough to finish. Or actually, no. I think stretching is absolutely necessary. Yeah, as otherwise, you're not going to have enough to finish, I think. Although then again, we do have some stackers here, so possibly some of them can be used as well. Yeah, I think maybe some of them could have been used instead of like a platformer here, for example. Then maybe we would have like 1 left over. Okay, and then we platform across the stack here, or rather to get over the stack. And then same thing here. We just simply finish up the platformer bridge, so that they can go out to the right, and that's it. And yes, I should mention here that in very old Neolemmix player versions, basically there are some things that don't exist here that are available in old formats Neolemmix, as well as new formats Neolemmix. So for example, there is no clear physics mode, which is basically a mode where it basically is like a shade of black and gray. Not basically white, gray, and black, so that you can tell, for example, what is steel, what is solid terrain, and where the trigger areas or traps are. So because CPM did not exist in very old versions of Neolemmix, basically it was impossible to tell if there was a hidden trap ahead of time or not. And so, because of that drawback, yeah, it often did get very annoying, yeah, to be taken by surprise by a hidden trap that kills a lemming. Yeah, just because, yeah, there was absolutely no way to tell ahead of time that there even was one. And I have to admit that, like, I don't mind hidden traps, you know, at least at first. But if there are too many of them in a row, then I will quickly mine, and it will irritate me. In the same way that I don't mind pixel precision either, but if there's too much of it, then yeah, in like a short amount of time, then yeah, I will mine. But other than that, I do have some degree of tolerance. But it's not to say that I will use them, because I have not used them at all. At least not yet. But for the most part, I'm pretty sure that I won't even be using them in future lows that I make anyway. But anyway, yeah, that is it for this low. And also, a hotkey that I use a lot in my LPs or lower packs. Yeah, I also use the last skill assignment hotkey. Yeah, I find that very, very useful. And so, unfortunately, in very old formats Neolemmix, that does not exist. And so, if I need to go back, yeah, in order to see a skill assignment in the replay solution, yeah, I would have to use the 3 seconds back or the 1 second back. Alrighty, basic 5, the 8 commandments. These are the standard 8 skills. I hope you still remember how these work. So pretty much, yes, as you can see, these are the skills that you find only in the, whoop, wrong replay here. I believe it was 5, not 6.
Let's go.
So yes, these are the skills that are only found in the original games. So like the original Lemmings and Oh No More Lemmings. And also in like, say, Lemmings Revolution. So these are mostly referred to as the classic 8 skills. So pretty much if you have played any of the original games, then yeah, these skills should be pretty familiar. Yeah, these aren't anything new, and they work exactly the same way in Neolemmix. Neolemmix is just simply an engine to play the Lemmings games. Yeah, but basically in like how can I put this? Like in more up to date engine. Yeah, so that you're not stuck finding old ways to try to run the games. Okay, so first let me get a climber. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and dig down here, and then we give him a floater, this climber. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and mine with the digger. And then we go ahead and build here. Okay, bash here. Oh yes, and yes, same thing with the lower sides here. Yeah, climbers will climb them as if there was terrain there. Yeah, and also the ceiling. Yeah, here it's hard to tell, but because I can't move my mouse anymore upwards, yeah, that's basically the boundary of the ceiling there. And so the ceiling is also solid, and therefore when Lemmings hit it, they will simply fall back down. They won't climb off the top of the screen and die, like they do in new formats Neolemmix. And that is also a source of inconsistency, because in old formats Neolemmix, in other words, version 10.13.18 or older, but more recent than version 1.43, basically the low sides were deadly, but the ceiling was still solid. So that meant Lemmings will fall off the screen and die when they reach the left and right edges at the level, but when they reach the top, yeah, they will still fall back down. Yeah, as if there was some terrain at the ceiling. And then finally, in new formats Neolemmix, it was decided that all edges, all boundaries of the level are deadly. Yeah, including the top. Yeah, and then finally, all that's left to do is to bomb a climber, and so that the Lemmings can get through, and that's it. And yes, another thing that I should point out is that, in case it hasn't become obvious yet, basically the whole point of the level solving commentary video series is that I simply load my replays and show off my solutions to the levels that I found for this pack. And I basically explain my thought processes that I had while I was solving these levels. Basic 6, do not fear. The disarmor is a permanent skill to remove the triggers or traps. It doesn't work on fire or water objects, nor can the skill be executed if the lemming is currently climbing, falling, or swimming. The glider is a diagonally moving floater. Hitting a wall during its fall will cause it to turn around.
Let's go.
Okay, and I believe I have seen a fair amount of complaints about this level because it seemed that it was a little too precise in the solution. But honestly, yeah, I didn't find this too bad at all. Yeah, this one wasn't really a problem. Alrighty. Ooh, that's a lot of skill assignments. So, let me go ahead and back up here. Nope. Sorry, wrong one. So, give him a disarmer. Away. Nope. Disarmer, and a glider, and a climber, and a cloner. So yes, 4 quick skills in one lemming. So basically, what that does is that by assigning the climber, glider, and the disarmer before assigning the cloner, that means the clone will also inherit the disarmer, glider, and climber skills. And this is very, very important. And that's pretty much creates a puzzle element to these levels. Because basically, this is pretty much using the clone strategically. If you want the clone to have certain skills on them, then you need to assign those skills to the lemming before you assign the cloner. And then similarly, if you don't want the clone to have certain skills, yeah, then you simply assign the cloner before you assign those skills. So, oftentimes the puzzle comes from deciding, okay, which skills do I need to have the clone have as well? And which skills do I not want him to have? And yes, you will recall, the low sides are solid, so therefore he climbs it as if there was solid terrain there. So yes, you will see the glider, he goes diagonally downwards, and it pretty much is like the floater, just in the way it works. So a floater just simply goes down vertically, but the glider goes down diagonally. So yes, and he's also a disarmer, so he's going to go ahead and disarm this trap, which therefore causes the trap to be harmless. And therefore Lemmings can pass by without being killed. So yes, and basically here, after hitting the ceiling, the glider opens his glide for a bit and is able to land on the wooden platform up here. So now he's going over the top here. Yes, and he hits the wall and turns around. Then we're gonna go ahead and dig down before the needle trap here. Yeah, hard to see, but this digger is disarming the needle strap, and he does it so that the climber coming from the other side is able to get by without getting killed. So basically, this is the hardest part here, and I believe that's the part that most people complained about, because it seemed that like there was just simply some misconceptions about being able to disarm this trap here before anyone gets killed, because basically you have to save everyone, including the clone lemming. And yes, so now that all the traps are disarmed, then we go ahead and assign every lemming down here a climber, and that's it. So quite a nice puzzle here, but again, like I said, I think I've seen a fair bit of complaint about this one. But honestly, it's a pretty good one, yeah, in my opinion. Alrighty, basic 7. Shalem Shivrim? Shavirin? Yeah, I'm not sure how you say the second word. If you don't have any blockers at your disposal, you need to get creative with the given terrain to contain lemmings or turn them around. Speaking of turning around, terrain with one-way arrows on it can only be removed by a lemming facing in the designated direction. Bombers are unaffected by this.
Let's go.
Alright, this seems very, very similar to a Lemmings Open Air level, I believe. Yeah, at least in this regards, I think. Or it might have been another level that I'm confusing it with, but I don't remember now. Okay, so, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and dig down here. Yeah, with the second lemming. The first lemming that goes back to the left will mine here. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and seal up the gap with a builder here. Okay, and then we give the glider to the digger here. And then we stop the miner with a builder here. So, as you can see, the glider is able to land down here. Okay, we give him a climber. Okay, build so that he turns around. he will glide, and yeah, and then land on the branch here. Okay, we build over the exit. Okay, and then bash through the one-way wall. Okay, and then I quickly cancel him with a builder. Yeah, before he destroys that builder bridge. Okay, and that's it. Very, very nice puzzle here. Okay, basic 8, Fallout. Radiation objects can appear in form of charging stations or a bunch of stars. I would say that the word "does" missing. So it should say radiation objects can appear in the form of charging stations or a bunch of stars. Here you see the look at the charging station. A lemming walking through them will get a countdown over its head and become a bomber once that countdown reaches 0. Basic 8, right? Yes.
Let's go.
Okay, and pretty much one of everything except in with 5 skill types only. So first lemming will block, which will cause everyone to turn back to the left. Then give the first lemming going to the left a climber. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and mine so that he hits the steel and turns back to the right. And then we're gonna go ahead and bash so that we can get underneath and go to the second one-way wall as well. But not too low so that he cannot be assigned a countdown. Yeah, in other words, he needs to use the radiation object here. Okay, and then before he finishes, or before the countdown finishes, we go ahead and clone the basher. Because we need another lemming to bomb around over here. Okay, and that's already it. And so, yes, as you can see, the radiation is just like the bomber skill, except it has a longer countdown. A normal bomber skill only gives a countdown of 5 seconds, but for a radiation object, the countdown is 9 seconds. So that's the key difference there. From what I understand, radiation and slow freeze. Yeah, slow freeze is basically the counterpart to the radiation object. But except that after 9 seconds, instead of creating a hole in the terrain, yeah, it simply turns the lemming into a stoner after the countdown expires. So from what I understand, basically the radiation and the slow freeze weren't too well liked by the community here. But honestly, yeah, I did not mind radiation or slow freeze at all. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I've seen too many good puzzles with them that that I definitely don't mind them at all. And for the most part, a lot of these radiation and slow freeze objects are already conveniently placed for you, so that the lemmings will explode or stone at the right location for you. I think the reason why they were generally disliked was because it just added a lot of fiddliness and execution difficulty, which a lot of the members don't like. And basically that kind of differs or deviates from the Neolemmix philosophy, which was basically aimed to reduce the execution and instead just simply focus on the puzzle difficulty. But yes, like I said, I did not mind radiation or slow freeze. And so because I'm coming back to these really old packs, yeah, and I'm seeing them again for the first time in a while. Yeah, it definitely, I definitely, in a way, do miss them. But I think for the most part, I can understand why. Yeah, they were called, and it was just simply for the best for the community. But yes, whenever I do see them, yeah, I occasionally do get bouts of nostalgia. Well, not bouts of nostalgia, but rather, I realize that I do miss them. Despite the fact that I came long after they were called for Neolemmix. But during my time when I had played the really old packs and those levels did feature these things that are now called in more recent versions of Neolemmix, yes, I do miss them. So like before doing this video series, for example, I was recording GigaLem's Ghost Pack. And yes, I think Strato would be happy to hear this, but yes, I, for one, did not mind ghosts either. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I actually like them more than zombies. Yeah, because the key difference here is that ghosts, at least they don't affect your lemmings. Yeah, which oftentimes, yeah, I find way more annoying. Yeah, and pretty much what sets them apart from the zombie gimmick. Now don't get me wrong, yeah, zombie puzzles can be quite good, yeah, if they are done correctly. But at the same time, yeah, I just generally find them more annoying than the ghost gimmick. I mean, the ghost gimmick can also be annoying as well, but yeah, for the most part, they are far less annoying, yeah, than the zombie gimmick. Yeah, at least in terms of what they can do to your lemmings, to your regular lemmings, that is. Yeah, in the same way, yeah, I've seen a lot of very good puzzles involving neutral lemmings as well. Alrighty, basic 9, Cold Snap. Slow freeze objects appear in in dove form, are charging stations, or a bunch of stars too. Here you can see what the stars look like. Slow freeze works like radiation, but the lemming turns into a stoner rather than a bomber at the end of the countdown. So yes, that's something that I already touched upon not too long ago in my explanation. Ooh, another Amiga track here, which is pretty loud. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and block here to turn everyone to the left. So these stars right here, yeah, that's a slow freeze object. So yes, and as I explained earlier, just like the radiation object, they get a countdown at 9 seconds as well. Okay, so when the countdown is around 5, yeah, then I clone this lemming. Because basically everyone's going to turn back to the right after this countdown expires and he turns into a stoner. And so we need a lemming to stone around here to break their fall. And so that they survive. Ooh. Plenty of skill assignments there. Let me see. Yeah, then I clone this lemming, which has a countdown of 6. And then I go ahead and bomb here. Basically, for the future lemmings, we want to avoid the slow freeze object, so that we don't create more stoners than is necessary, as they will just simply impede their progress. Yep. Stone here, and then this next lemming that's coming down will also stone here, so causing everyone to turn back to the left. So there we go. Now future lemmings cannot use the slow freeze objects, which is what we want. So max out the release rate here, and then finally bash towards the exit. And then I just simply clone them. Use up my cloners. Do I? Yeah, I still see the red R, so. Okay, maybe not. So it's generally been my practice that I simply use all cloners. Yeah, no matter how many you're given. Yeah, just basically, yeah, if I didn't use them for any of the skill assignments, in combination with the other skill assignments, then I generally use all of them just to simply either meet the same requirement or just simply to exceed it. But it seems that in like really, in some levels, yeah, in the very early versions of Neolemmix, apparently sometimes I didn't even use them at all. And I just simply left them unused. So this happens to be one of them, I guess. Alrighty, and then finally, the last level for this video, basic 10. Into your hands, I commit my. It gets cut off. Lemmings, I'm not sure. Alrighty, ghosts don't interact with any objects, meaning neither with traps and fire nor with water, exits, buttons, or pickup skills. They also push other types of lemmings ahead of them whenever they meet. And yes, that does include zombies. Zombies are terrified of them too. Okay, give the ghost lemming a climber. So the only thing that was not mentioned in the pretext, which I think should be, is that unlike zombies and neutral lemmings, and as a matter of fact, yeah, I think you let me see, are there neutral lemmings in very old formats Neolemmix? I don't quite remember. But the one thing that was not mentioned in the pretext, yeah, and again, I think it should be mentioned, is that unlike the zombies and the neutrals, yeah, ghosts can be assigned skills. So you can give them skills as if they were a regular lemming. So here we give the ghost lemming a climber. Oh yes, and again, we take advantage of the fact that level sides are solid, so therefore these lemmings will not die when hitting the side. So in a way, the lemmings are already contained, yeah, due to the wall here and also the low side here. Yeah, only in very old versions of Neolemmix though. Yeah, because if you did like say old formats Neolemmix, then no, they would simply walk off the left side here and die, and therefore you would need to use a stacker or something in order to prevent that from happening. So yes, as you can see, this Ghost Lemming simply passes by the fireboxes while getting killed, because again, they cannot interact with objects, and traps are considered objects here in the game. In the same way, they're going to go ahead and pass through this flamethrower while getting killed as well, which he just did. So he gets a floater to survive the fall here. Okay, and then I go ahead and stack on this raised area here in order for the ghost to turn around. Okay, here, then we stack, and then use another stack here, and another one. Then we're going to go ahead and build back up here. So, almost missed it, but yes, he's able to connect with the ground here, or with the terrain, I should say. And then we go ahead and mine through the one-way wall. And then once we're low enough, then we go ahead and bash to the ground. And I believe that's it. So now, here comes a special feature of the ghost. So, this is what is referred to as the scare gimmick of the ghost. And basically, when lemmings are nearby and they come up to a ghost, they basically start fleeing from the ghost in the opposite direction, as you can see happening right now. Yeah, it's only once they once the ghost lemming is right on top of them, yeah, then they're able to slip by and go the other way. So the ghost lemming's too far behind them, so he won't be a problem to them while they're walking to the exit. So here I managed to finish with a stacker left over. Alrighty, so that was the first 10 levels of the basic rank. So next time we will finish the second half of the basic rank. And it should be noted that in a way the name basic is pretty misleading for the rank. Because if you're thinking these levels are just simply very basic puzzles, I have to disagree here, because this is really more than just your usual tutorial. Because these levels are unusually difficult, and so and because things work way differently in very old versions of Neolemmix, yeah, that's probably how the basic rank got its reputation for being disliked, because the puzzles in here are actually quite difficult. Yeah, they are not as easy as like simply get them to the exit. Yeah, and you have so many skills. No. These puzzles are quite tough themselves, but I believe there were only like a few here, yeah, that I didn't like too much, but for the most part, these puzzles were pretty good. Just don't expect them to be extremely easy though, because these are quite difficult. But anyway, yes. As I said at the beginning of this series, yeah, it's just going to be 10 levels per video here. So we already done 10, so we're going to make a cut here and do 10 more levels next time. So I hope you enjoyed this first video at the Lemmix level solving commentary video series, and I'll see you all next time.